Hi, I'm Amy E. Feldman, a longtime JRA volunteer and a practicing attorney. Some of you might have seen me on television or heard my radio reports on KYW, where I share my legal knowledge with listeners. Tonight, I am delighted to act as the MC for the Jewish Relief Agency's annual event to end hunger. This year is our 21st year bringing nourishment to the community. Let's toast this incredible organization that, together with its dedicated volunteer base, has brought hope and nourishment to so many. Congratulations, Mazel Tov. With great pleasure, I would like to introduce Jody Roth-Sachs, JRA's Executive Director.
Thank you, Amy, and welcome everyone to our virtual event. Tonight's theme, Growing Needs, Glowing Deeds, truly captures what we've seen over the last year and a half. The growing needs of local families struggling with a burden of food insecurity, and the glowing deeds of the unwavering generosity of the JRA volunteers. For over 20 years, JRA has inspired thousands of people to take an active role in their community, delivering nutritious, kosher food to individuals, seniors, and families in need. Right here in Greater Philadelphia, we've seen some of the worst poverty in the U.S. Hundreds of people who never imagined they'd struggle to put food on the table found themselves seeking JRA services for the first time.
During tonight's program, you'll hear stories of compassion, generosity, and kindness, voices of resilient recipients, and the joy of our JRA junior families as we light Hanukkah candles. Tonight, we're celebrating 3 sets of volunteer families whose wholehearted commitment to our clients acts as an inspiration for us all. We're grateful for Eric Harron and his son Dylan, Jeff and Maria Newby, and Steve Schwartz for their steadfast commitment to serving our community. And now I am honored to introduce Rabbi Menachem Schmidt, co-founder of the Jewish Relief Agency, for some words of inspiration.
Tonight is the 8th night of Hanukkah. We know that there are growing needs. We have seen unprecedented crisis during the pandemic. None of us have ever experienced anything like this before. The response to such a crisis must be glowing deeds. But first, let's start with Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a Jewish holiday. Where's the wine? Where's the challah, the chicken soup? Where's the brisket? And most important, what's for dessert? But instead, we have an emphasis on candles. Okay, so we can have a little latke, maybe some donuts, but candles? But let's look at Hanukkah's message. When our spiritual existence was threatened, the Jews had faith. We focused on our partnership with God and bringing godliness and light into the world. And when we focus on that, just like in the time of the Maccabees, the results are literally miraculous. During the rest of the year, when we do a mitzvah in this spirit, these deeds are called Masim Tovim Uma'irim, not just good deeds, but shining deeds, shining like precious diamonds. We don't necessarily see it, but on Hanukkah, through the candles, we do see it. Our candles represent this idea. Not only do the candles shine, but they light up the world, because each mitzvah is connected to an infinite light which shines in a miraculous and supernatural way. JRA did it during the pandemic, and JRA does it each and every day. Every day, every JRA mitzvah brings these brilliant lights into the world. Tonight we light the 8th candle because we keep adding in light, adding in holiness, not being satisfied with the light we kindled yesterday. Now when we look at society's challenges, we know that a very little bit of light pushes away darkness, but with God's help, the brilliant light of the mitzvahs pushes away a ton of darkness. So remember, when you make the blessing on the menorah tonight, you are lighting up the past, the present, the future, your life, your family, and the whole world. Wishing you a Freilichen Chanukah, Chag Sameach.
Thank you, Rabbi Schmidt. We're always grateful for your guidance and support. Speaking of inspiration, in this season of miracles, a generous JRA donor has offered us a terrific matching grant. For every donation you make, your gift will be matched 1-to-1, but only if we can raise $25,000 this evening. This is a fantastic opportunity to double your gift. Please text "We Deliver," no spaces, to 50155 during tonight's program to make your donation. And hurry, you only have until the end of the evening to meet the challenge. Donate now. Help us, help others. JRA relies on the support of donors like you to purchase food and other critical supplies that we deliver to over 6,000 low-income individuals and families who live in Greater Philadelphia. JRA works closely with numerous for-profit and nonprofit organizations to supply the food they pack and deliver. Philabundance is one of JRA's essential partners, a pioneer in the field of hunger relief. Philabundance has been feeding Philadelphians since 1984. Tonight, we are fortunate to have with us Lori Jones, the Chief Executive Officer of Philabundance, and an outstanding leader in our community.
JRA is an important partner for us to ensure that we are providing fresh, healthy food to people in our communities. Among the things that are great about JRA is they make home deliveries, but also during COVID, they provided not just food, but toiletries and PPE to our families. Philabundance is proud to have our partnership with JRA. JRA provides great service and also serves our community with dignity.
Thank you, Lori, for your generous words of support. Before the pandemic began in March of 2020, over 1,000 volunteers gathered at the JRA warehouse one Sunday a month to pack and deliver boxes of food. Unfortunately, COVID-19 put on hold those joyous times, and we were forced to adapt to a new reality. In that moment of despair and confusion, our resolve as a community was being tested. But one thing was for certain: our volunteers and the community were resilient. Our volunteers made sure every hungry JRA recipient received the support they needed. Volunteers have always been the backbone of our agency. Month after month, they deliver food to every home on their route, whether it's raining or snowing, 95 degrees outside, or even 10 below. Our volunteers have been a light in the darkness, and we're grateful for every single one of them.
I think it's important to volunteer for JRA because food and shelter are two of the essential needs for anybody.
Food security is an important cause for me, I think, because I know I'm very fortunate to have food security not be an issue or a problem to think about, and giving back to make that less of a problem for other people to think about also feels really good. And
we are inspired to come back to JRA every month because volunteering through JRA has such a tangible benefit to us. We see the impact that we're making to different people in our community.
we see the impact that we're making, and it always feels good leaving knowing we made a difference that we could see. It's a pretty satisfying experience knowing that.
I get from the JRA, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate the food they send me, how they help me out for the holidays, and everything that they do for me. They're a blessing, and I really appreciate it.
I am so proud to introduce the next volunteer we're celebrating this evening, a friend of mine, Steve Schwartz. Steve's been volunteering at JRA since 2001. Pre-pandemic, he'd arrive early at the warehouse with bags of bagels, committed to feeding both the community and our volunteers. In March of 2020, when the world was shutting down, Steve showed no signs of slowing down. He continued to deliver 30 to 40 boxes each month, humbly calling himself a regular.
Hi, I'm Steve Schwartz. I've been volunteering with JRA since 2001, and I'm a regular. I think it's important to volunteer for JRA because I think that food insecurity is a solvable problem, and I think that individuals can have a significant impact on solving that problem. One of the reasons that I enjoy coming every month is I feel the need to give back to society because I feel blessed. I've been given a lot of great things in my life, and I just think that it's just a nice thing to be able to give back, and I particularly like this way of giving back because it's hands-on. I spend a lot of my time sitting and thinking during the day, and here I get an opportunity to use my hands, my muscles, and actually physically do something that gives me a good feeling.
Food insecurity can be a solvable problem if we all pitch in. But remember, food scarcity didn't start with the pandemic. Many Americans didn't know how they were going to feed their children long before 2020. Some of our neighbors still must choose between food or heat, rent or medicine. Incredible need lies just minutes from our homes. JRA route owners are volunteers who commit to deliver food to the same households throughout the year. JRA currently has 103 route owners delivering food to over 1,000 households each month. Talk about commitment to your community. These are some of the most altruistic, conscientious, and passionate citizens in our community. Tonight's event hosts, Jeff and Maria Newby, are two of our impressive route owners. As Jeff says, anyone can take some time out of their lives to help others because it just feels good.
Hi, my name's Jeff Newby, and I've been delivering for JRA for about 4 years now. Food and nutrition and things of that nature are basic needs that everyone has. It's become more and more obvious to me how, especially some of the folks that I deliver to, the elderly, the somewhat sick and infirm. I mean, I'm walking past walkers and wheelchairs and things of that nature when I'm dropping off food, and it just makes it that much more obvious to me that these folks need nutrition, they need food just to continue their daily lives, to enjoy themselves, to be able to get up and do the simple basic things in life that you need and the energy that you need to do it, and then to take the food and deliver it to the people that are just so happy to see me, and the thank yous that I get is just tremendous, and it makes me feel really good by the time I'm done my trip.
People share their time with JRA for many reasons. For some, volunteering can be a healing experience.
I'm Jackie Greenberg, and I had recently lost my husband, and I wanted to do good deeds. I'm doing something for somebody else, which really feels very good, and I hope I can continue doing it. So thank you, JRA, for allowing me to help people.
Imagine the courage it takes to reach out to a stranger and tell them you need help because you have nothing to feed your children. Imagine the shame and the sense of helplessness this may engender. Help us help our neighbors. Donate now. Text "We Deliver," no spaces, to 50155.
I come back to JRA month after month because I've seen how great the need is and how appreciative the clients are. I also enjoy working with all the wonderful, capable staff members.
While observing the restrictions laid out by the CDC, JRA has always stayed true to its primary model, "We Deliver." Transporting food directly to people's doorsteps ensures families have the food they need. Recipients don't need to worry about transportation, speaking or reading English, or overcoming obstacles that often impede those with mobility challenges or disabilities.
I particularly enjoy it when I'm bringing food that is appropriate for Jewish holidays. It gives me a feeling that they're getting to participate in the Jewish holidays in some way.
I am just very much love the JRA because they have done so much for my family for when we were down, really very, very down. They were there for us. They always always come through, for us when we didn't have money and we didn't have food. I'm so happy now that I have a job. I'm a teacher, and my wife has a job now at the AIDS department store. You guys have saved us, and thank you. We love you guys.
Last year, the surge of new families asking for a box of food and other supplies caused a real departure from our usual intake process. Normally, clients complete an application before receiving JRA services, but with families in sudden need turning to us, we knew we had to be flexible. We wanted to make sure that no one went to bed hungry. Throughout 2021, JRA continued supporting those who turned to us for help. We covered more zip codes in our deliveries and offered more services, such as assisting our seniors with rides to vaccine and now to booster appointments. We have also supported our 320 Holocaust survivors. Helena is one of them.
I just want to express my gratitude to the JRA and also to the volunteers that bring the packages for me to the door. The packages are wonderful. I'm enjoying everything that's in it, and it's a big help for me because I cannot go shopping. Someone has to take me once in a while, so I'm very, very appreciative, and thank you so much for everything you're doing for us. Keep up the good works. God bless you. I love you all for doing that for us.
The income numbers are stark, and JRA volunteers are meeting the growing need with a steadfast devotion to our clients. Please help us support them by giving a gift today. Dollar for dollar, I know will earn that challenge grant. Please text "We Deliver," no spaces, to 50155 to make your donation. One volunteer who's been sharing his light with JRA since its inception is Mo Pereira, an original yellow capper who could answer all your questions at the warehouse.
My JRA story begins in 2005. My father passed away in January of that year, and that summer, while looking through the Jewish Exponent for some sort of volunteer opportunity, I came across an advertisement for JRA's August distribution. I attended my first distribution, was hooked, and haven't stopped coming since. 15 months later, I became a yellow capper and continue volunteering to the present day. Like so many of you, I have enhanced my JRA experience by getting family, friends, work colleagues, and members of my congregation involved with the organization. In fact, all 3 of our children chose JRA as their B'nai Mitzvah project. As you may know, at JRA we always say we are nothing without our volunteers. Each and every month I am amazed by the efforts of so many selfless individuals who do whatever it takes to ensure that each and every one of our clients receive their JRA delivery of food and other essential items. My personal belief is that JRA is an organization where we have the opportunity to actually see and touch the people who are the beneficiaries of the mitzvot we perform, and what we receive far outweighs the actual time that we spend.
So, what do we do when faced with such a widespread need? JRA showed up. In 2020, JRA increased the weight of their local food boxes and added household goods like hand soap, hand sanitizer, face masks, and toilet paper for those who couldn't afford these necessities. Just as Steve said, one individual can make a difference. Volunteers like Gregory Augustine aren't just bringing food to people's doors, they're bringing human connection to people's lives.
Come back to JRA month after month because what they're doing for the community is a great cause, and I'm just happy to be a small part of it.
When we look at the importance of healthy eating in seniors, we know it increases mental capacity, boosts energy levels, and wards off chronic health problems. For many of our seniors, the JRA volunteers who show up monthly with a friendly smile may be the only people they see or speak with that day. The JRA delivery is something to look forward to and a reminder that they are cared for.
Since JRA's inception, we have supported seniors living in Federation housing, and the pandemic did not slow us down. We continued to deliver about 800 boxes a month to the residents. We are so grateful to Eric and Dylan Heron and the other volunteers who assisted us when we found ourselves needing to adjust our delivery model and limit the risk of exposures for everyone involved.
In March and April 2020, JRA worked closely with Eric Naftalin and the staff at Federation Housing to create a monthly food delivery system that would minimize contact between JRA volunteers and vulnerable residents, What resulted? Operation Federation. Each month, hundreds of boxes were packed, counted, labeled, and shrink-wrapped here at this warehouse. On the appointed evening, head mensch and JRA board chair Bill Novick arrived here with an empty truck, loaded it, and drove it to each of the buildings. Waiting for him were small teams of JRA staff and volunteers to unload the boxes and stealthily deliver them to the residents' doors.
Food insecurity is commonplace in affordable housing as seniors make the difficult decisions in managing their limited finances. When the pandemic hit, our residents were frightened and concerned, as we all were. My team and I quickly made a decision to suspend all of our programs and services immediately. In the ensuing weeks, we recognized that our biggest concern for our residents, beyond trying to limit the spread of COVID within the buildings, was food insecurity. We had to figure out how to safely get food delivered to our residents who depend on it. We connected with our friends at JRA. We discussed all of the aspects of delivery logistics and recognized both JRA and Federation would have to get creative and remain fluid and flexible in order to meet resident needs, and we did just that. The JRA staff heard our concerns and developed a game plan to get the food in our residents' hand in a much different way than they were used to. JRA used to use smaller teams who came into the properties at night and made it happen for our seniors. Federation Housing is grateful to JRA leadership, staff, and volunteers like Eric and Dylan Harron, not only for helping our 800 seniors who are food insecure get the food they needed, but for being open-minded, flexible, creative, and smart as we safely navigated the challenges of the pandemic together. We thank you, JRA. You came through when it mattered the most. Thank you.
With the onset of COVID, we shared Federation Housing's concern for the safety of the residents, and quite frankly, we had concern for ourselves as well. But this was greater than ourselves. We had to figure out a way to get food to the residents in the safest and most efficient way possible. I am grateful to the JRA staff and leadership, to our partners at Federation Housing, and to our dedicated volunteers for being quick on their feet to successfully meet the challenge.
I feel like I've made a small dent in providing security for people, making them feel more connected to the community.
To take the food and deliver it to the people that are just so happy to see me, and the thank yous that I get, the jars of peanuts and the small candies that I get as a thank you, is just tremendous.
It was especially important to me during a hard time like this to show our kids that we have to do our part, especially during hard times, to make our community better and take care of the people in need.
JRA volunteers come in all sizes. JRA Juniors is a program where families with children 10 and under can connect with the JRA mission through packing boxes and other activities at the warehouse. This kind of participation encourages our youngest volunteers to grow into compassionate and service-oriented members of society. Many parents in the community encourage this opportunity, especially since it's sometimes challenging to find family-friendly volunteer opportunities.
It's especially important and inspiring to me outside of just what we're doing because I get to share the time with my son driving to and from the JRA service and being able to have the opportunity to pass on my values to Dylan and my other kids.
I come back to JRA month after month because I am part of a community making a difference for people whose faces I often see as I'm delivering the products, and that makes me feel great and connected to humanity.
Thank you to everyone who's donated this evening. We'll continue to count your donations toward the matching gift until midnight tonight. If you've been inspired by our volunteers, donors, and clients this evening to do more, to give more, and to become an active part of making our community better, please give now by texting "We Deliver," no spaces, to 50155. Thank you for spending this time with us and for your commitment to help feed Philadelphians young and old. A special thanks to Federation Housing, the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia, Share Food Program, and Phil Abundance. We wish you all a healthy, happy Hanukkah Happy holidays and a joy-filled year.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlikir shel Hanukkah. Baruch